Have you ever caught yourself saying something to yourself that you would never say to someone you care about? Maybe you forgot to reply to an email and instantly thought, "I'm so stupid." Or you looked in the mirror and whispered, "I look awful today." Here's the truth most of us forget. Your brain believes everything you say to yourself, even the quiet, mean little things you'd never say out loud. Over time, those words shape how you see yourself, how you handle challenges, and even how much joy you let in. And here's the twist. Most people have no idea what their inner voice really sounds like until they stop and listen. So today, we're going to find out. I've got a quick 10-question self-talk check-in that will show you if your inner voice is your biggest supporter or your harshest critic. There's no right or wrong, just a chance to get honest with yourself. And by the end, you'll know exactly where you stand, plus a few small, powerful steps you can take to make that voice your strongest ally. Ready? Let's start with the first question. Before we go any further, I want you to do something with me. Take a deep breath, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Now, picture this. You're going about your day, maybe at work, at school, or just at home. Something happens, a small mistake, an unexpected change, or a surprise compliment. You don't need to tell me what it was. Just notice. What did your inner voice say in that exact moment? Most of us don't realize how automatic those thoughts are. They slip in so quickly, sometimes harsh, sometimes doubtful, sometimes encouraging, that we barely notice them at all. But here's the thing, those little comments add up. They shape how we feel about ourselves, how we approach challenges, and how much joy we allow in. Today, instead of rushing past them, we're going to slow down. We're going to hold up a mirror to that voice in your head, not to judge it, but to understand it. Because once you can hear it clearly, you can start to shape it into something that supports you instead of tearing you down. As we go through this together, there's nothing you need to prepare, no right or wrong answers. All I ask is that you stay curious about your own reactions. Let's gently uncover the patterns you might not even know are there, and see what they have to say about the way you speak to yourself every single day. All right, here's how this works. I'm going to ask you 10 questions. For each one, you'll choose a number from 1 to 5, the one that feels most like you in everyday life. Don't overthink it. Your first honest answer is usually the truest. And remember, this isn't about passing or failing. It's about noticing how you speak to yourself when no one else is listening. Ready? Let's begin. Question 1. Imagine you just made a mistake. Maybe you sent the wrong file to a client, burned dinner, or forgot something important. What's the very first thought that pops into your mind? I always ruin everything. I should have known better. That's frustrating, but I can learn from it. Mistakes happen. I'll fix it and keep going. I actually grew from this. Take a second to notice your instinct here. This question reveals how forgiving you are toward yourself in moments of imperfection. Question 2. Someone gives you a genuine compliment, maybe about your work, your appearance, or something you did well. How do you react internally? 1. They don't really mean that. 2. They probably don't know the full story. 3. I guess I did okay. 4. Thank you. I worked hard for this. 5. I'm proud of what I've done. Compliments are like mirrors. They reflect back how we see ourselves. How often do you allow yourself to simply receive them? Question 3. You're facing a challenge, something that feels big, maybe even intimidating. What's your inner dialogue? I can't handle this. What if I fail again? I'll give it my best shot. I've handled worse. I can do this. This challenge will make me stronger. Challenges are natural, but your first thought can set the tone for how you approach them. Question 4. How often do you catch yourself being self-critical? 1. All the time. It's constant. 2. Often, but I don't always notice until later. 3. Sometimes, but I'm catching it more often now. 4. Rarely. I usually notice and stop it. 5. Almost never. I'm very mindful now. This one is about awareness, because noticing the voice is the first step to changing it. Question 5. When you compare yourself to others, maybe scrolling on social media or hearing about a friend's achievement, what do you usually think? 1. I'll never measure up. 2. They're so much better than me. 3. We're on different paths. 4. I'm happy for them and proud of my own path. 5. I feel inspired by their growth. Comparison can be a thief of joy or a spark of inspiration. How does it feel for you most of the time? Question 6. After a personal failure, how do you tend to respond? 1. Beat yourself up for days. 2. Feel guilty and ashamed for a while. 3. Eventually move on after some reflection. 4. Forgive yourself fairly quickly. 5. Comfort yourself and learn from it. Failures can be heavy, but they can also be teachers, depending on how we treat ourselves afterward. Question 7. Before starting something new, whether it's a project, a hobby, or meeting new people, what thought comes first? 1. I'll probably fail. 2. I don't think I'm good enough yet. 3. I'll try and see what happens. 4. Every new thing is a chance to grow. 5. I love challenging myself. This is about your relationship with the unknown. Do you lean into it or hold yourself back? Quick encouragement break. You're doing great so far. Remember, your answers aren't about labeling yourself. They're just clues, little windows into how your mind treats you. If you feel tempted to judge your score already, that's your inner voice in action right now. Notice it. Breathe. Let's keep going. Question 8. When things don't go as planned, maybe you miss a deadline or an event gets canceled, how do you respond? 1. Completely shut down. 2. Struggle and dwell on it for a while. 3. Take some time but eventually bounce back. 4. Handle it and find solutions quickly. 5. Feel stronger after overcoming it. Life rarely goes exactly as planned. This question shows how resilient you feel when faced with detours. Question 9. When you succeed, big or small, what's the thought in your head? 1. I just got lucky. 2. I barely made it. 3. I worked hard for this. 4. I earned this and I'm proud. 5. I'm grateful for my growth and progress. How you process success matters, because if you can't own your wins, it's hard to build confidence. Question 10. If you had to describe your inner voice overall, which one fits best? 1. Harsh and critical. 2. Doubtful and anxious. 3. Trying to be supportive. 4. Mostly kind and encouraging. 5. Consistently compassionate and empowering. This last one sums it all up, the overall tone of the voice that guides you through life. Alright, take a deep breath and add up your numbers. Your total score will reveal your category, where your self-talk stands right now, and what small, powerful steps you can take to make it even stronger. In the next part, we'll break down each category so you can see exactly where you are and how to start moving toward a kinder, more empowering inner voice. Encouragement break. Before we jump into your results, let's pause for a moment. You've just answered 10 questions about something deeply personal, your inner voice. That's not always easy. In fact, simply taking the time to reflect on how you talk to yourself is already a huge act of courage. So first, take a deep breath. Let your shoulders drop, and remind yourself, this isn't about being perfect. It's about becoming aware. Awareness is like flipping on a light in a dark room. Before, you might have been stumbling around, bumping into furniture, not realizing what was in your way. Now, you're starting to see the shape of things, the habits, the patterns, the automatic thoughts that have been living in the background of your mind. And once you can see them, you can change them. Here's the truth. Every single person has moments of self-doubt. Even the people you think have it all figured out, the confident friend, the successful coworker, the smiling stranger on social media, they all have an inner voice too. The difference isn't that theirs is perfect. The difference is that they've learned how to work with it, instead of letting it run wild. And that's exactly what you're doing right now. Maybe some of your answers made you think, wow, I'm a lot harder on myself than I realized. That's okay. It doesn't mean you failed. It means you've just discovered where the work begins. Or maybe your answers showed that you already speak to yourself with kindness most of the time. That's worth celebrating, because it means you've built habits that support your confidence and resilience. Wherever you landed, there's room to grow, and you have everything you need to start. Think of your inner voice like a garden. Some of the plants are strong and healthy, thoughts that encourage you, keep you grounded, and remind you of your worth. Others might be weeds, thoughts that tear you down, fill you with doubt, or make you second-guess yourself. You can't clear the weeds overnight, but you can start by noticing them, gently pulling them out, and planting more of the seeds you want to see grow. Over time, the balance shifts, the garden changes. So as you get ready to tally your score, remember, this isn't a judgment, it's a snapshot. It's simply showing you where you are right now on your journey with self-talk. And journeys are meant to be traveled, not rushed. Whether you're at the very start or further along, your next step is always just one scoring guide. All right, time to add up your points. For each question, you chose a number from 1 to 5. Go ahead and tally them up. Got your total? Great. Now, match it to one of these 5 categories. As you listen, see which one feels most like you, not just in numbers, but in the little details of the description. And remember, this is not a judgment. It's a starting point. Category 1, the inner butterfly, 10 to 19 points. Your inner critic has a loud voice right now. and it's been shaping how you see yourself. You might often feel like you can't get anything right, or you quickly blame yourself when things go wrong. It's exhausting, and it can fuel anxiety or sadness without you even realizing it. But here's the hopeful part. Awareness is the first step. You can start by giving that critical voice a name, something silly like the judge or Ms. Perfect, so you can separate it from you. Try writing down one self-criticism you hear each day, then gently reframe it into something kinder. Category 2, the self-doubter, 20 to 29 points. You're not constantly beating yourself up, but you do tend to doubt your abilities and brush off your wins. Compliments might feel uncomfortable, and you sometimes focus more on what you could have done better than what you did well. The good news? You're closer than you think to building a stronger inner voice. Start a proof list of 10 times you overcame something, no matter how small. Keep it somewhere you can read when doubt creeps in. And when someone praises you, try saying thank you and nothing else. Just let it land. Category 3, the self-aware fighter, 30 to 39 points. You've already started noticing your inner critic, and you're working to shift old habits. Some days it clicks, some days it doesn't. But you're in the fight, and that matters. This stage is all about consistency. Try the 3-to-1 method. For every one critical thought, answer yourself with 3 neutral or kind ones. Keep a simple tracker, on paper or in your phone, where you jot down moments you caught yourself being kinder. Over time, those moments will add up. Category 4, the encourager, 40 to 45 points. Your inner voice is mostly on your side. You're able to bounce back from mistakes and celebrate wins without too much hesitation. Still, there's room to deepen that connection. One powerful practice: write a letter to your past self, describing how far you've come and what you've learned. It's a tangible reminder of your resilience. And don't forget to support others. Sometimes encouraging someone else reinforces your own positive self-talk. Specific advice for each group. Now that you know your category, let's get into the part that really matters: what you can do to work with your inner voice, starting today. These are small, realistic actions designed to meet you exactly where you are. Category 1, the inner butterfly, 10 to 19 points. Right now, your inner critic is running the show. It's quick to judge, slow to forgive, and leaves little room for self-compassion. The key here is awareness without attack. Name your critic. Give it a nickname like the judge or the nitpicker, so you can separate it from yourself. One kinder thought a day. Before bed, write down one self-criticism you noticed today and reframe it into something more gentle. Example: I messed up again. I made a mistake and I can try again. Micro moments of kindness. When you catch yourself being harsh, pause and take a slow breath. Imagine speaking to a friend in the same situation. What would you say to them? Category 2, the self-doubter, 20 to 29 points. You're not cruel to yourself, but you do have trouble believing the good things about you. You downplay your wins and lean into "I'm not enough" thinking. Build your proof list. Write down 10 things you've accomplished, big or small, and keep adding to it. Revisit it whenever doubt creeps in. Practice receiving. When someone compliments you, respond with a simple "thank you" and nothing else. No, it was nothing, or I just got lucky. Let the compliment land. Anchor habits. Choose one grounding habit, like a 3-minute morning stretch or an evening gratitude note, to signal to yourself that you're worth showing up for daily. Category 3, the self-aware fighter, 30 to 39 points. You're already in the game, catching your negative thoughts and challenging them. The next step is building momentum, so these new habits stick. The 3-to-1 method. For every one negative thought, counter with 3 neutral or positive ones. Example: I'm bad at this. I'm learning. I've done harder things. I can ask for help. Track your wins. Keep a small log of moments you shifted your self-talk. Review it weekly to remind yourself that change is happening. Share your growth. Tell one trusted person about a mindset shift you've made. Saying it out loud reinforces the progress. Category 4, the encourager, 40 to 45 points. Your inner voice is mostly kind, and you bounce back well from setbacks. Here, your focus is deepening resilience and maintaining those habits. Letter to your past self. Write to the version of you from 5 years ago. Share what you've survived, learned, and become. It's a powerful reminder of your growth. Emotional spotting. When something goes wrong, pause and identify at least one thing that went right, or one way you handled it well. Community support. Join or create a group where you and others can share wins, challenges, and encouragement. Teaching kindness reinforces your own. Category 5, the inner ally, 46 to 50 points. You have a strong, compassionate inner voice, and you use it to support yourself in hard times. Your challenge now is to keep stretching. Take on a stretch challenge. Choose something that excites and scares you a little. Growth lives in that mix. Resilience ritual. Create a go-to reset practice for stressful days, like journaling for 10 minutes, walking in nature, or playing music that grounds you. Stay curious. Even helpful patterns can be refined. Check in monthly to see if your self-talk still aligns with your goals and values. No matter your group, remember, self-talk is a skill, not a fixed trait. You can practice, improve, and rewrite the way you speak to yourself. And the changes don't have to be huge to matter. A single kind thought, repeated often enough, can shift your entire story. Next, let's talk about how to wrap up this self-check-in and carry the momentum forward in a way that feels natural and sustainable. Reassurance and empowerment. If you've made it this far, take a second, really, just to acknowledge yourself. You didn't just click on this video, you stayed with it, answered the questions, reflected on your score, and took an honest look at your inner voice. That's not nothing, that's courage. And I want you to feel that for a moment, because most people go through life without ever pausing to notice how they talk to themselves. They just run on autopilot, carrying around words and beliefs that weigh them down, sometimes for years. You've already taken a step toward lightening that load. Here's something I want you to remember. Your score doesn't define you. It's not a label, it's not a grade, and it's definitely not a prediction for the rest of your life. It's a snapshot, a moment in time that shows you where your self-talk stands today. And just like any snapshot, it can change. With every thought you challenge, every moment you choose kindness over criticism, you're shifting the frame. I also want to reassure you that if you scored lower than you hoped, it doesn't mean you're broken. It means you've been carrying a lot, maybe for a long time, and your mind has developed a voice it thought would keep you safe. Even if that voice feels harsh, it's been trying to protect you in its own way. We're just here to help it evolve into something softer, wiser, and more supportive. And if you scored high, this is your reminder to keep nurturing that inner voice. Because life has its seasons. There will be times when your self-talk feels rock solid, and times when it's tested. The work isn't about being perfect. It's about having the tools and awareness to meet those moments with compassion. No matter where you landed, you have the power to change your inner dialogue. And it's not about huge, life-changing transformations overnight. It's about tiny, consistent shifts, catching yourself in a critical thought and replacing it with something more balanced. Saying thank you when someone compliments you, even if part of you wants to brush it off. Writing down a small win at the end of the day, even if it feels silly. These are the little acts that, over time, rewire the way you see yourself. I know change can feel overwhelming, especially when you've been talking to yourself a certain way for years. But here's the truth. You don't have to wait until you feel ready to start. You can start right now, right where you are, with what you have. You can choose one kind thought today. You can take one deep breath when you notice your inner critic getting loud. You can write one note to yourself as if you were talking to your best friend. Because the way you speak to yourself isn't just about your mood, it's about your whole life. It shapes how you show up for opportunities, how you handle setbacks, and how you connect with the people you love. A kinder inner voice doesn't just make you feel better, it makes you live better. So, whether your score put you at the beginning of this journey or further along the path, know this: you are not your harshest thoughts. You are not the mistakes you've made. You are not the sum of your doubts. You are someone who is capable of rewriting your story, one word, one thought, one moment at a time. And you've already started. In the next part, we'll talk about how to carry this momentum forward. Simple, practical ways to keep building a voice that lifts you up instead of pulling you down. But for now, just take a breath and remember, you're doing better than you think. Before we wrap up, I want you to pause for just a moment and think about one thing. What's the smallest action you can take today to speak to yourself with more kindness? Not next week, not after you've fixed everything. Today. It could be as simple as noticing when you're being hard on yourself and replacing that thought with something softer. Or maybe it's writing down one thing you're proud of before bed tonight. These tiny acts may seem too small to matter, but trust me, they add up. And here's the thing. You don't need to overhaul your entire mindset overnight. In fact, trying to do too much at once is one of the biggest reasons people give up on changing their inner voice. Start where you are, use what you have, and just keep moving forward. One step, one thought, one breath at a time. If any part of today's self-talk check-in resonated with you, if you saw yourself in the questions, or if you recognized a friend or loved one in one of the categories, don't let that awareness fade. Hold on to it. Talk about it. Share what you learned with someone you trust. Sometimes saying, "Hey, I realized I've been talking to myself in a pretty harsh way lately," can open the door to deeper conversations and more support than you expected. And if you're feeling ready, I'd love for you to take this one step further. In the comments below, share your score and one small action you're committing to this week to improve your self-talk. Not only will it help you stay accountable, but it might also inspire someone else who's struggling in silence. Remember, you're not doing this alone. Even if it feels like it sometimes, there's a whole community of people here who are working on the same thing, rewriting the way they speak to themselves so they can show up in the world with more confidence, joy, and compassion. If you found value in this video, consider subscribing so you won't miss what's coming next. Because today, we focused on becoming aware of your inner voice. But awareness is just the first step. Next time, we're going to dive into 5 daily micro habits to rewire your self-talk. Practical, science-backed strategies that you can fit into your everyday routine in less than 10 minutes a day. These aren't vague affirmations or just think positive advice. They're small, doable actions that actually train your brain to default to kindness instead of criticism. So if you're ready to turn today's insight into lasting change, you won't want to miss that. Make sure your notifications are on so you're the first to know when it's live. For now, take a deep breath, unclench your jaw, and give yourself credit for showing up. Always pay attention to your mind and emotions because your mental health speaks long before the signs become overwhelming. Don't wait until depression takes control. Take small actions today to protect your well-being. That might mean slowing down, seeking help, or simply allowing yourself the kindness to rest. Remember, healing is not a destination, but a journey, and every step you take is meaningful. If our content helps you, please like, share, and subscribe so you can continue receiving guidance and encouragement on overcoming depression and nurturing your mental health. We are always here with you, reminding you that you don't have to face this battle alone. And if you have questions or personal experiences you'd like to share, leave a comment below. I'll be here to listen and support you.